Welcome to Near Dark Podcast Mini-sode 6 with me, Angel, and today I actually have a regular cast member with me. And then we have the usual guest.
Zombie.
I'm pretty sure everyone knows who you are by now. So, however, how is everyone doing?
Doing fine. Like, I don't know what else to say about that. Just the surgery. They cut in my chest, you know. Lost a knife fight with the surgeon. What can you do?
As you're healing up fine then, I guess?
Yep.
Good. Glad to hear. How about you, Josef?
Tired as usual. My back is hurting and I'm getting older by the day. But otherwise, I'm pretty good. How are you?
Besides that, I didn't get sleep tonight. I did catch up on like 4 hours of sleep midday. I'm annoyed, but that's like regular things. It might as well be my life to be annoyed all the fucking time. Besides, I'm okay. Nothing to complain about, really.
Okay.
We sure are a cheery bunch.
Oh yeah, of course. All of us are oh my god, what's it called? All of us has a leg in the grave.
Yeah.
Joseph, you wanted to say something.
Yeah. We've discussed a couple of things about these mini-sodes, and we've decided to expand on the concept. We're not just going to talk about movies on these mini-sodes. There will also be other horror-related things like games, horror movie anthologies, TV series, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like we're expanding a little bit more here. That's great. So let's see. Do you have the first plot synthesis?
Synopsis.
Same shit, really.
Not really, but yeah, I do.
Yeah. So let's kick off the first movie, so we get this done.
Yeah, and here is the trailer for Cat's Eye.
Stephen King, your favorite novelist and master of modern horror, has written his first motion picture screenplay. It combines all the elements of his creative imagination. Lovable pets, classic cars, quiet evenings, favorite films,
Kill the son of a... Good idea.
adorable kids,
Help me! It's after me!
and of course, a monster or two. Experience a series of electrifying adventures as seen through Stephen King's Cat's Eye.
Where's your sense of humor?
Stephen King's Cat's Eye.
Three tales of horror and suspense revolving around a mysterious stray cat which is attempting to find a little girl in trouble. In Quitters, Inc., the cat is picked up by a shady New York City doctor who uses experimental techniques to get people to quit smoking. His latest client is a man named Morrison, who learns he'll suffer some terrible consequences if he tries to cheat. In The Ledge, the cat is picked up by Kressner, a shady Atlantic City millionaire who forces tennis pro Norris, his wife's lover, to walk a narrow ledge around his high-rise penthouse apartment. In general, the cat arrives in Wilmington, North Carolina, where it is found by Amanda, the young girl it has been sent to protect. What she needs protection from is a tiny evil troll who lives behind the skirting board in her bedroom. Okay, the person I'm most curious to hear from is you, Zombie.
It wasn't really that exciting for me. I did like the first story the best, but it didn't really catch my interest. It was quite boring in my opinion. So yeah, oops.
I was thinking we could briefly discuss each story. You know.
Yeah.
So what did you think? What did you think about the Ledge?
It did remind me of another like story that was kind of like it, where you had this rich dude that just had his wife taken from him by a younger, more, I don't know, attractive looking guy, and they take her or something against the guy to like, you do this for me, and then just screws him over in the end, and yeah, also kills the girl. But yeah, it was like, man, that guy, I do not like heights, so oh, and that bird, that fucking bird.
I can agree. I can agree.
Yeah, I've never felt more satisfied by a guy kicking a bird. But anything you want to add? Any of you?
Well, we'll go in separately.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
What did you think about the third one, General?
I don't really know what to say. All cats hunt, which is like what they do, and like to see a cat like hunt a bird, like evil, evil. Like you hate cats apparently, and for a small troll that wants to steal kids' breath, to have bells on your hat is like the most stupid choice of accessory ever. And I don't really know. I didn't pay too much attention to it because by that point I was quite done with the movie as a whole.
Yeah, you've lost interest in the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. But overall, what do you think about the movie?
It was well done. I can give it that. Which is, I don't know, for its time, good, I guess. It didn't really have anything outstanding, but like, as I'd say the first story was the most outstanding, as
Can you relate?
as a non-smoker, no, but as like wanting to quit anything in general, I would think that would be a very efficient way to make me quit anything, because watching that cat alone was like, fuck you, stop, I'll do what you want. But yeah, if I had a choice to watch it again, I would say no, thank you, I'm good.
What rating will you give it?
I would say for the cat alone, I would give it a 2 actually, because it just didn't stick.
Okay. Okay. Angel, what did you think about Quitters Inc.?
Well, the first segment, I don't know, it was okay. It is a different way to get people to stop an addiction. In overall, it was not too interesting, really. Um, I preferred the second segment because
Village.
yeah,
Mhm.
the biggest reason why is I'm very afraid of heights.
Yeah.
And since this is a horror movie, you're supposed to be spooked or scared or whatnot, and heights terrifies me.
Okay.
So it was the preferred segment for me overall. And I do agree with Zombie. The satisfaction of seeing that bird kicked.
That was actually one of the scenes I wanted to discuss, but yeah, we can. I think we all can agree that scene was brilliant.
Oh yeah, it was. And the third segment,
General.
I don't know, like that wife is just no. She pretty much seems like she believes General is Satan himself. Ugh, I don't like her. Overall the segment was okay, I guess. I really preferred the cat overall. Like, I didn't care too much about any other character. The cat was amazing. The cat himself gets a 10 out of 10. The movie itself gets maybe 3 out of 10. It wasn't too exciting. I would not watch it again as a first choice movie, but I would watch it with someone who hasn't watched it before.
Yeah, it's for you. It's that kind of movie. If it's on TV, you can sit down and watch it, but it's nothing you will seek out again. Basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
What did you think?
Okay. Cat's Eye. The first time I saw this was when I think 8 or 9. So it was basically around the time when you were born, Angel. The segment I always remembered were the third segment with the small troll. But at the same time, like when I was a kid, I loved that segment and I thought the rest was pretty meh. But I've rewatched this movie a couple of times through the years, and as I'm growing older, I started to think that the first 2 segments are more enjoyable than the third one. Mostly because the movie is basically based in reality. The first 2 stories are based in reality, even though they're they're
Pretty far-fetched ideas, or
they at the extreme,
Yeah, well, I would say like the first one is very much extreme, but the second one could happen.
Yeah. Well, I think that both of the segments could happen if you just well, yeah.
The
But,
right person.
Yeah, exactly.
It still didn't have any supernatural entities to it other than the cat seeing like the spirit or whatever of the girl in the windows.
The cat got the message from the girl somehow.
Yeah.
I think it's well acted, and I think it's overall is a pretty fun anthology movie. Even though it strays away somewhat from what anthology movies usually are, which is supernatural horror movies in short segments,
Yeah.
And none of you guys mentioned it, but I love the references to the other Stephen King stories. Two of them is just in the beginning of the movie. The Saint Bernard dog, which is a reference to Cujo, and the American car, which is a reference to Christine.
Usually I take the reference when we go into trivia. That's why I didn't mention it.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
No problem at all. It's just like it's your first mini-sode with us, and yeah.
Yeah, well,
No, it's like
I'm just blabbering about here.
yeah. No, like when I saw the Saint Bernard, I was like, that's Cujo.
Yeah,
That is Cujo. Like it was so easy to see. It's such an easy reference.
Yeah.
Well, at least if you're a big Stephen King fan or a big horror fan in general.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, the first story, I don't think that's much of the horror story, really. It's more about the suspense, you know. Like the scene when Morrison is just about to cheat with a cigarette.
Yeah.
When he can't sleep, and when he hears a noise from the closet, and he walks over there, and well, there's nothing there, and then he throws the umbrella into the closet, and he hears like a shriek or whatever, and then he realizes someone is in the closet. That whole scene is just, you know, it's suspenseful, even though it shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's kind of like you wait for someone to jump out on him or something.
Yeah, exactly. And me as a smoker, I can really relate to what Morrison is going through. I'm not getting hallucinations just because I haven't smoked in a couple of days or 2 weeks or whatever. But I can
but it's
relate.
still tough.
Yeah, I can relate to how he feels. You know.
Yeah, but have you ever been surrounded by all the smokers in one room?
Yeah, it's like I think you would start to go a little bit.
That's actually one of my favorite scenes in this movie. I was just laughing out loud when I was watching that.
Honestly,
even the portraits on the walls is starting to smoke.
I mean, I love it. I love the song that comes on, and then the doctor. I don't remember his name. Comes dancing down, singing too, or like mimicking the singing in this like 80s glimmer glamour fucking jumpsuit. It's like I laughed so much I almost started crying. It was so good.
Yeah.
So,
that scene is just it takes the cake with this movie. I love that scene.
oh yeah.
It's so goddamn fun. The second story, I agree with both of you. That's the best story in the movie, without a doubt. I think the brilliance of the second story is that it's, you know, just so simple, but so damn effective with just small things making it into a, well, if not a horror, it is a suspenseful tale. And to be honest, I was clenching my ass cheeks to get most of the second story's running time, because I got acrophobia, which is fear of heights, and I can't even stand on a kitchen's chair. So just the whole segment when he's walking around outside of the apartment, like I was at times I was, you know, it made me break out in cold sweat. Basically, it was. Whoa.
I personally would have been like, you know what? Jail sounds like a pretty good place right now. Pretty good place compared to here.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. And then we got the third and final tale. I like it, but at the same time, think it's the weakest one out of the three.
Mm.
Because of what I said earlier, because it strays away from the reality-based horror into some La La Land type of deal. And I hate the mother character in that segment so much. Jesus Christ. Characters like that, I can't stand them. I can't stand characters like that. And, yeah. But overall, I think it's a pretty fun anthology movie. It's well acted. The effects looks a bit dated, of course. You can see clearly a green screen from time to time, especially during the ledge segment and general segment when the troll is on screen.
Yeah.
But that's nothing that's really bothering me when I watch this movie, because it's part of the charm when it comes to 80s horror movies.
Yeah.
I would rate this movie 7 out of 10, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's time to go in and talk about the different scenes of the movie. We have somewhat done that.
Yeah.
I have a few notes. I have a lot of notes in the first one, and the second two are a little bit fewer. I guess I can start. Like you get to see this woman walking out of the clinic, and it's like, I would run. I would not stay. I wouldn't ask questions. I would run. If someone comes out of a clinic looking like that, just run. And I can like this. He sits watching TV, and I think he's slightly drunk, and he spills his drink on his chest. And the wife says, "You use your left tit as a coaster." And I just I thought it was hilarious at the time, but I was watching it pretty late. So I guess I was tired and wrote that down. I think it was kind of funny. And now, as a non-smoker, the only thing I'm addicted to is the soda Coke. So I can't really relate, but I'm like, barely 12 hours. Pussy. That's kind of how I felt. But I mean, it might be a different thing for you, Josef. Like, first time you quit smoking, it might have been hard to go 12 hours without a smoke.
It's actually hard to not go with the smoke for about 6-7 hours, I guess. I think. I mean, you start to get, annoyed and, sometimes angry at around 12, 13, 14 hours or something.
Yeah, it's kind of like going without food for a certain amount of time, and then
exactly.
Yeah. Fucking hell! If I don't eat regularly, I am a monster. As something, I graduated as a chef from college. And he comes home and he drops this fucking boiling hot frying pan straight into water. You do not do that. It's triggering me. I got so triggered. I'm like, bitch! Oh god.
Well, he was in a state of panic, so.
Oh well. Okay. Sure, but still. Does anyone else have a comment to do on the first segment besides what we've already done?
The last little twist at the end of the first segment, what did you guys think about that?
I got the joke and I'm like, okay, they're gonna do something with this. And when I said like, I knew it. But yeah, so something go on.
It was more for me like expected. We're gonna cut her pinky off. Like, yeah, they would. They almost electrocuted her to death. Like, why wouldn't they do this? They would
I
rape her.
believe they
so
say,
why not?
I will cut a finger off. Not a specific finger, but a finger.
Yeah, but it was still like I didn't doubt them, and like the most twist was like, so the other dude also went through this. Okay, was more of a conclusion for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Josef?
I've always been a big fan of these type of movies, and I've always been a diehard fan of the series Tales from the Crypt, which is basically this type of thing, but in a TV series. And each episode in that TV series got a sort of a twist.
We covered Tales of the Crypt in the last Mini-sode.
Oh.
If people has been catching up to actually listening to the earlier episodes, they will already
Wasn't
know.
it Creep Show?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Fucking, it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah. It is. But yeah, I like that little twist. You know.
It was well
Yeah.
placed, if anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't make a big deal out of it either, just showed it and done. So, yeah.
The only thing I think they should have done with the first segment of the movie, it should have been 10 or 50 minutes longer, so we could see more of what Quitters Inc. were capable of doing to Morrison. You know,
Yeah.
that would have been interesting. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I agree.
Okay, so the second segment, I have 3 notes. First of all, the old man, he's a cunt.
Well,
okay.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
No, you're not wrong, but okay.
Something I was thinking about, like, no, I thought it was his daughter, the guy was trying to run away with. And then it's like, you get you get the money, you get your car cleaned, and you get my wife. And I'm like, why the fuck would you want his wife? You got his daughter. And then when I understood, oh, it's his wife, I'm like, what the fuck? The last thing I have to say, he did say 3 things. And he did get all 3 things.
He's a man of his word. He's a cunt about it, but he's a man of his word.
Exactly. So, anyone else?
The only scene I picked out of the second story was that Johnny kicked the bird, and that made me laugh out loud. I thought that
To be
scene
honest-
was just brilliant.
That bird was a cunt. It deserved it.
I mean, true though. It kind of is a cunt.
Well, some is not wrong, so, you know.
And I did remember what the second story reminded me of. It is another, actually, Stephen King. It is from Creepshow, about the couple that drowned. If you remember Angel.
Oh yeah,
The
that
segment
one.
with Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah.
It did remind me of that, so it's good. It is really good that the concept still works in different formats.
Yeah.
So kudos to you, King.
Yeah.
Oh, I just remembered too. When they
Mhm.
tried to call the cat from the other side of the road, I noticed like the smallest of like that you could see the peak of the tongue of the cat, like
Mhm.
when they do that cutesy little thing that dogs always do with
Yeah.
like
Yeah. The bleep. Is that
yeah,
me?
like
Mhm.
you stole my heart right there, and yeah,
I mean, same.
mm-hmm.
Okay. Rushing over to the third segment then. When I saw the troll, I was like, "What the fuck is that thing?" I mean, it was actually kind of scary. I had to pause the movie for a little bit and go watch something else because I was like, I'm gonna get traumatized. It's like, it looks very scary, for me at least. I listen to a lot of creepy stories, creepy pastas, actual true scary stories, however true you want it to be from Reddit and whatnot. And I just found it terrifying. And the mother, as we already stated, she has some kind of problem. Like, fucking hell, you hate cats. I honestly have. No. I wish she died in the movie. I don't like her.
If only.
And the best scene where General, in some kind of like, he gets the troll to fly into the fan, I think it is.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it was so nice.
Mm-hmm.
You're seeing blood and guts and body parts everywhere.
I think the fight at the end between the cat and the troll is pretty amusing, especially when the troll tries to get away with the balloons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it gets on the vinyl player, that scene made me chuckle a little bit.
Yeah, and how the song went like from the normal to nightcore, very fast, and how they seemed to very like that particular song. I'll be watching you, considering they had it both in the first and last segment to tie them together, kinda. I think.
But I'll be watching you. I believe that's a decently normal song for a lot of horror movies.
Yeah,
Isn't it in the first Friday the 13th?
I have no idea.
My brain died for a second. What did you say?
The song "I'll Be Watching You." I believe it's in at least one of the Friday the 13th movies, but I don't remember which one. I'll be watching
I
you.
can't remember, to be honest.
Yeah, I believe it's in the Friday the 13th at least. It's a really good song.
Yeah.
I believe it's in the second. No, that's the first segment. I'm brain farting. But yeah. Any particular scenes, things, character? Anyone?
I wouldn't really. I would just say, as a whole, the story as a whole, I think it was a little weak conclusion of what the cat saw, where like you have to, I don't know what she says, like you have to find it or something, and it felt like that's the conclusion of that little mystery, and it felt like unsatisfying in a bit. I did like the bit, even if it as boring as it was, but it was, I don't know how to explain it. Like it started good, but it ended meh
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, I think they should have done twist at the end of the third and last segment, because they're talking about cats taking children's breath when they sleep, which the troll wanted to do, and at the end it's suggested that the cat is about to do that, but then Amanda wakes up and everything is happy joy.
Yeah.
Instead of that, they should have done it like the cat was there to take her breath.
Yeah.
Just gave the trust.
It would have been a more sinister ending, but it would have, it would have been a better twist of the of the segment.
So, is it anything else about the movies you want to talk about, or should we go into trivia?
I'm good.
I'm pretty done with
Okay.
the movie.
Well, about the thing with the cat, I actually have something. Against the director's wishes, the studio cut out a prologue that explains the cat's motivations, actually. They consider it to be too silly. So that's why we don't get a reason to why General is doing all of this.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why studio interference is never good for a movie.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna drop some trivia about budget. They had a budget on, I think that's 700,000. I've never been good with numbers. Opening weekend in the US, they made 300,451. Back 14th of April 1985. Gross USA 1,300,086 something. Really hard with numbers. As we have mentioned, they have a reference to Stephen King's Cujo. You said something about a car.
Yeah, Christine.
Isn't that like a killer car?
Yes, it is. The movie is directed by John Carpenter.
Oh, right, yeah. I think I tried to watch it. I'm gonna drop that Amanda's mother we can actually clearly see that she is reading Pet Sematary in bed.
Yeah.
And without taking away too much of the trivia, does anyone else have trivia on this?
Zombie.
I think I have something. I'm not 100% sure, but the guy in the second segment that has to walk around the house, I think he's also the actor that plays the Green Goblin in the first Spider-Man movies. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's him.
No.
Oh, darn it. Well, then I
Oh man, Zombie, you're doing it again, giving us false.
I have
trivia here.
nothing then, and I'm just a big fat liar. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, so Joseph, you got anything?
Yeah, I do. And I got a lot. Okay, here we go. The two first short stories in the movie, Quitters Inc. and The Ledge, were based on King's two short stories with the same name, which were included in King's Night Shift collection, which was published in 1978, together with The Mangler, Trucks, Sometimes They Come Back, The Lawnmower Man, Children of the Corn, and The Graveyard Shift, amongst others. The Graveyard Shift, that was the first episode we did for the podcast, by the way. The third story, General, were unique to the film. The film was nominated at the International Fantasy Film Award for Best Film in 1987. The film was directed by Louis Teague, who also directed 1980's Alligator, the 1983 film adaptation of Stephen King's Cujo, and the 1990 action thriller flick Navy SEALs, starring Charlie Sheen, Bill Paxton, and Michael Biehn. This was Drew Barrymore's second film based on King's writing. She had previously appeared in 1984's Firestarter. This was Milton Subotsky's last horror anthology film, but the first of his 4 Stephen King films. The other 3 films being Maximum Overdrive, Sometimes They Come Back, and The Lawnmower Man. He also got a co-producer credit for the sequel to Sometimes They Come Back, which is titled Sometimes They Come Back Again, from 1996, even though he passed away in 1991. The Stephen King short story Sometimes They Come Back was originally planned to be adapted as a segment in this movie, but producer Dino De Laurentiis felt the story was strong enough to have its own movie, which he also produced in 1991. Dino De Laurentiis produced a lot of other big titles as well, such as Halloween 2, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, Amityville 2, The Possession, The Dead Zone, Maximum Overdrive, and Sam Raimi's Army of Darkness. And that's everything I got.
Okay, then I'm gonna drop the last one I have, or the 2 last ones, maybe. James Woods, who's watching The Dead Zone from 1983. So, oh god, it's in the first segment. He is watching The Dead Zone, apparently. I've never watched this, so I'm not familiar.
I've seen it.
Yeah, but what haven't you seen? Shots are fired! Yeah, but I believe that it includes everything we have about the movie.
Yeah.
Then we're going over to the second movie of this mini-sode, Quicksilver Highway, from 1997.
Here's the trailer for that movie.
I am Quicksilver, Aaron Quicksilver. You might say I'm a collector. I collect rare objects, facts, stories. I travel the roads of America seeking its heart. Do you have time for a story? There is no light without darkness, no life without death, no peace without war, no God without Satan.
What are you doing, man? I said pull over! How about a broken neck? You're not gonna wreck us. Oh, no? So why'd you call it? Look out!
If you can't see the black heart of America, you're either blind or a fool.
Follow me and be free!
Just a man with a tent filled with wonders and a handful of stories in search of a willing audience. Do you have time for a story?
In a broken down car on the deserted Nevada highway, a young bride awaits her husband to return with help. Out of nowhere, Aaron Quicksilver, a strange and a Wait, what the hell? Quixotic character arrives. Thankful at first for the company, the newly grooms ever more faithful as the old man tells a bizarre tale of a toy thief, their innocence shattering under and the harboring of doom. Further down the highway, a pickup pocket on the run encounters Aaron Quicksilver too. This time he has a different grisly tale to tell, the story of Dr. George, a gifted plastic surgeon who has hands developed a mind of their own, on a gruesome rampage wrecking inimaginable hammock. So I'm gonna give my first opinion of the movie, I guess. I have never heard about this movie before, and well, I'm a big Stephen King fan. I loved, God, what's it called? Oh, they're in a big hotel somewhere. God, I can't remember.
Shining.
Yeah, The Shining. I love The Shining, Misery, Pet Cemetery, It, both the new one and the old one. But I never heard about Quicksilver Highway before. I thought it was... It was... a weak Stephen King, I would say. The first segment was the second segment was a little bit more disturbing. But it's gonna get a weak 2 out of 10. 2 out of 10 hands from me. Zombie, I am actually interested in what you have to say about this.
I would say that in Stephen King's movies, you have usually like scary parts and generally like silly parts, and they are mostly balanced, or like the silly parts are actually amusing and fun to watch, so it doesn't matter if they happen to be silly because they fit in the Stephen King spirit. But I would say this movie wasn't it, because it was a bit too much on the silly side and not what I would like call actual horror, or however you say. So it was actually weak. Not trying to swear. So I too had never actually heard of this movie, and I don't think it's one of the more well-known movies of Stephen King either, but I would say out of 10 hands it would get like this one too would get a 2 for me. 2 out of 10 hands.
So Joseph, you haven't heard about this one either, I guess?
You have been awfully quiet.
Well, I haven't heard about this movie either, to be honest. Before you mentioned that we were gonna cover it. And the reason for that, I think, it's because, you know, the Quicksilver Highway were made for TV back in 1997, and I think that's the biggest reason why most people haven't heard about it. And I agree that the whole movie is pretty dull, to be honest. Both segments are more miss than hit, basically. One thing you guys missed to mention was that the first segment, Shattered Teeth, is based on a Stephen King short story, and the second one, The Body Politic, is based on a Clive Barker short story.
Oh, I thought both were Stephen King's, actually.
No. It's a one story each of the authors. So.
Oh, okay.
I can just get a ride on with Stephen King here.
I think that if the stories has been adapted into, Tales from the Crypt, for example.
Mm.
I think they would have been a lot more gruesome, violent, and probably a lot more funny than they were. Even though both stories and ideas and concepts are really ridiculous and monumentally fucking stupid. You know?
Yeah.
I think Shattery Teeth works better than the Body Politic. Since in Shattery Teeth, there's no outdated CGI, which stood out like a sore thumb in the second segment.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
And I haven't read any of the short stories, but I guess both of them works a lot better on paper than on screen. And,
Most likely.
Yeah. And I wonder if the Body Politic were the inspiration for the 1999 horror comedy Idle Hands as well, because it's basically in Idle Hands the concept in the Body Politic, it's basically the same in Idle Hands. A guy hands start to get a mind of their own and start to kill off people.
Mm.
So, but
I believe the concept. I believe I've seen it in yet another different movie, or if it was a true story or something, where a man's hand becomes evil, and he has to chop it off. I vaguely remember
about Evil Dead 2.
No, it's a different one.
Okay.
I remember the scene. It's in front of a basic white suburban house. I believe the hand has murdered his wife or something, and he cuts it off. I know I've seen it somewhere. It's not Evil Dead, but I can't remember the name of it or anything, or when I watched it. Yeah. Anyways, continue.
I don't recall watching anything like that. Well, the last thing I got to say about the movie in this segment of the episode is that I think Christopher Lloyd did a good job with what he had, basically. I think it's always good when he's in a movie or a TV series or whatever. But at the same time, I had some trouble not thinking that I was watching Doc Brown telling horror stories when I was watching this movie.
I love Christopher Lloyd. He is such an amazing actor.
He is a very talented actor.
Yeah, I especially loved him in Back to the Future, but in this one, like, I actually didn't recognize him. When I was in on the IMDb page to look up someone else, I saw that it was him, and I'm like, again, I know I saw it when I was getting information about the movie. It's like, he's a great actor.
Well, if I'm gonna rate the movie, I'd say 3 out of 10. I think it's overall pretty dull, and there's no real energy in it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't really anything that would make you like either root for the characters or like have anything that has actual scares in them.
Yeah.
But yeah, this they didn't really make at least me care about the characters at all. Like they were just there to either die or whatever was gonna happen to them.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So going in on the segments though.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember if it was named Bob or something, or Dave, or I don't remember the main character's name. But like I thought he kind of was a softie when I saw him. He has the basic, oh, I'm a very soft, nice person. I obey everyone who tells me to do shit. And then all of a sudden, like, he shows off that he's a fucking hard ass, and I'm like, what the fuck? What? You look so soft. And then he starts to boss around this guy. It's like, okay, sure.
Which segment are you talking
The
about
first
now?
one. The first one. He's he allows this guy to get in the car and give him a ride and whatnot. And
Oh yeah, that guy.
he has him like, do not smoke in my car, or we can end this little trip right here. And as this guy prolongs just pissing him off,
Yeah.
he becomes more and more of a hard ass. And I'm like, what the fuck?
I don't know what to say about the.
It kind of like same. It felt like I'm gonna fuck you over because I don't care if you like hurt or kill me. Even though he did seem to care, it was like same dude, same.
Yeah. You know, I was just surprised that he looks like a softie, and then he's like flips over and like, you don't do shit in my car. It's my car. Get the fuck out, pretty much. But overall, I don't really have much more to say about the segment than that. That's my only note. And the second segment, just going straight over this because it's such tiny things.
I got one thing I wanna mention before we roll into
Yeah.
the second segment.
Yeah, go on.
What do you guys think about that small twist at the end of the first segment? You know, when the guy crashes his car.
Hmm.
I'm not,
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
not talking
yeah.
about the actual story. I'm talking about the
In between the stories.
Yeah, exactly.
I was a little bit surprised. But
Yeah.
I didn't get if it was her actual husband or not that got hit. I didn't really pay too much attention.
I don't know. I didn't think very much of it. But I did realize that it was the same actor that played her new wed husband as the dude with the, I don't know what kind of car he had, but he that bought the teeth. So yeah, but like,
Was that the same actor?
yeah, apparently
Cool.
I didn't realize it until that the teeth dragged his dead body away.
Huh.
The more you know.
The more you know.
I actually liked that twist
Yeah,
at the end of that segment because the whole movie is pretty dull, but that tiny bit is, you know,
yeah,
that's something that would have happened in Tales from the Crypt, for example.
Yeah. Okay, so Sammy, do you got anything on the first segment?
actually not. Other than Quicksilver's car is very much bigger on the inside.
Oh
At least
no,
it
that's
looks like it.
that's a trailer.
Never mind then. His trailer looks much bigger on the inside. I'm a stupid, and I can't cars or anything. Hello.
No, I do agree. But it's probably as like a regular trailer that they can like taken out stuff of.
Yeah. Very fancy looking.
Yeah, I do agree. Okay, the second segment. I have 3 notes apparently. When he is driving home, like when your hands suddenly gets ticks and does whatever they want. That was what I was thinking. But it's like, oh shit, my hands got ticks. He just starts driving like shit all over the road. It's like, holy shit, okay.
Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't go to a therapist because of hand issues, I would go to a doctor. Like, my hands do things I have no control over. Like, do something. Like,
Yeah, but I believe the psychiatrist has like had similar things before, if I understood it right.
okay
I
then.
was so bored by the movie that I didn't pay attention.
Like,
that scene.
it had me like a bit at like the hands are going out of control until the fucking hands started talking in that high pitched voice, and that's when it was like, well then, bye. I need to watch this, but bye. It was
One scene in the second segment I liked was when Charles has just killed his wife, and then his hands start to act up.
Yeah, they go like ape shit.
Yeah, and about in the middle of that sequence, he falls down the stairs, which I thought was brilliant and hilarious. I love when people fall downstairs.
You just want to see people in pain. That's all.
Yes.
But those hands were
and,
dicks, though.
What did you say?
Those hands were dicks. They didn't try to recruit his husband's hands. His wife's hands. They just straight up killed her rather than like try to recruit the hands like they did with countless others. And the hands seem stupid. Like, it doesn't want the dude to die, but they almost got him ran over and choked. Like, do you want him to die or not?
Yeah, that was.
Oh, it's kind of funny. I actually really like the part where he's laying on the floor trying to call the guy, and his hands acts up like ape shit, and it's like, well, you know the actor has to do everything on his own, and that just makes it even more funny. It's like...
Lay on the floor and flail your arms like your life depended on it, dude.
Or the security guard who legit drags himself forth by the hands. It's like...
Those scenes actually reminded me a little bit about Evil Dead 2, to be honest. Evil Dead 2 is a lot better.
Oh yeah, I do agree.
I was thinking about the scene at the beginning of the second segment. You know the old... well, she doesn't... She says she's 39. If she's 39, I'm fucking 82.
And like, she asked the surgeon if he knows how old she is. Like, isn't he supposed to know that? If you're supposed to do...
Yeah, if you're someone's
one?
patient, they're supposed to know how old you are.
And like, again, 39. I'm old. You guys are old. We're all old now.
Yeah. Well,
But I mean,
if she's 39, I'm fucking 82.
Yeah. But what I mean is, when you do plastic surgery, you might end up looking like you have aged 30 years just as you come out. Because, I mean...
Kinda counterproductive then.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like old plastic surgery. Today it's better.
Yeah.
Not making plastic surgery sounds better. Love yourself. Please, people, love yourself for who you are. Because everyone takes everything so fucking wrong these days. Something I found really funny, when he has cut off his own hand, and it runs away. It looks like the hand from the Addams Family.
But in bad CGI.
Yeah, exactly.
Watching those hands run around, it hurt. It hurts, man.
It was so funny.
I was starting to think that I was watching a PlayStation 1 game at a couple of points in that segment.
Like, and all the hands like flying over the rooftop. Like, imagine just throwing a bunch of hands over the rooftop to make that scene. Like, It's raining hands.
Hallelujah, it's raining cats.
I guess I couldn't take that segment serious. But oh well.
Like I said, both of the segments or short stories, if you want to call them that, is probably better on paper than they were on the screen.
Yeah. And the concepts could have been done a bit differently to make them better.
Mm.
In a different format, I don't know. But oh well. What's done is done and cannot be undone. Is there anything else worth mentioning?
I don't think so.
I'm empty.
Okay,
Same.
so let's go over to the trivia then.
Yes.
See, writer Clive Baker, Stephen King, and Mac Garris, directed by Mick Garris. Trivia. They had a budget of about 400,000, so that explains how crappy some things were. See, starting Matt Frewer, also known from playing Frank in The Dawn of the Dead, and Big Russ Thompson from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and Christopher Lloyd, of course, as we already talked about, known from the movie trilogy Back to the Future, Who Framed Roger Rabbit from 1988, and The Addams Family Waltz from 1993. And I actually I had to look this up too, or I found it when I was looking it up. No. I was looking up something else and then I found this. The guy in the first segment playing Brian Adams, the guy who tries to steal the car, Silasas Vermitchell, he plays Monroe in the Grimm TV series. One of my favorite TV series, actually. I do strongly recommend it if you like fantasy.
I've never seen that one.
It's based on the old Grimm, the Grimm...
Tales.
Yes,
Oh.
the Grimm Brothers' tales. Strongly recommend it.
But it's for adults, or?
Yeah, it's for adults. They have all the gruesome parts from the
Grimm
Grimm Brothers. Much rather than the Disney adaptations.
I really do like the Grimm versions.
Oh yeah, they're so much better. Anyways, that's all the trivia I have. Anyone else?
Do you got anything, Zombie?
Nope, do you?
Yes. Mick Garris wrote and directed the movie. He has also written Critters 2, which he also directed, and The Fly 2 from 1989, which is a sequel to David Cronenberg's remake from 1986, I think. He also directed Psycho 4, The Beginning, Sleepwalkers, which is also a Stephen King movie. He also directed the miniseries based upon Stephen King's The Stand. And he directed the TV miniseries of The Shining. And he directed Desperation with Ron Perlman, which is also based upon Stephen King's writing. One of the producers were John McTiernan, which made Predator, Die Hard with a Vengeance, and Last Action Hero, just to name a few. Christopher Lloyd wanted to emulate Hamlet for his role as Aaron Quicksilver, and Matt Frewer didn't have to audition for his two roles in the film. Mick Garris simply called Frewer on the phone and asked if he wanted to be in this movie. And that's all I got.
Well done.
Well, then we are done, I think.
Yeah.
So, we should say goodbye to the good people.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Goodbye, good
Bye.
people.
Bye bye.
Bye.